Breaking Records Radio, you're now tuned in. We got two very special guests with us right now. We got the big homie Ghettosocks, and we got Relic right here. How's it going, guys?
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, good.
Very exciting.
So,
Yeah, we just got off the tour, the 13th Floor tour, promoting Rel's new record, The 13th Floor, produced by Fresh Kills.
Yep.
And that was a success, and lots of lives were changed, and we lived.
We lived.
Living's always good.
To tell another tale, to live another day, I don't know. Probably the later one.
Yeah. Fresh is a good engineer, producer, beat maker. Walk us through the process of working with him.
Well, you know what? This is for this specific record. It was a little bit. It's hard to explain because we've both been on different touring schedules. Like he and I were touring before together. Him playing the MPC and me sort of rapping and singing over top of that. But this. This time around, we sort of have been, doing different things and on different tours and stuff. We got a grant for that record a couple of years ago, and so it took us a while to actually get to a point where there was actually creativity that was like, getting traction. Things that were actually happening, and we finally got to a point where it was just like, hey man, just send me as many beats as you can and let me hash through them and then see which ones that I can, write stuff to, and then let's take it one, step by step and see how we go. And so for that particular record, although Kills made all the beats on there, just because our schedules are so conflicting, there was very little time where we were both in the studio together figuring things out. There was about 3 or 4 sessions where we actually had time to. The last one that we had, which was last year at some point, we looked through what we had started. There's like 30 some odd songs that we had started and sort of throwing things at the wall, and then we ended up narrowing it down to the 13 that are on the record.
Yeah.
And so I ended up tracking and mixing and editing the record myself. Just because he's a really busy guy, man.
Yeah,
he's out there and he's supporting a whole bunch of rappers. It's not just me.
Yeah.
So that being said, and so it's not a negative thing that I did the record that he didn't record it and stuff like that. It's just the way that things worked out for us. But I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. The record's has been received really, really, really well, and just short of 2 months of being #1 in Canadian college hip hop. So that made me feel really good, man. And like Dee was saying, the tour was a success, and the response to it really is how you gauge the work that you've done, I guess. I don't know, for me anyway.
Yeah. Cool, man.
What did the tour span? Did you guys? I seen you were out west, and how far? Did you travel Canada? Did you do the whole?
This time we did release parties for the record out here in Ontario. We did 5. We did Toronto, London, Ottawa, Guelph, and Hamilton. Hamilton. And then we went from there to Saskatoon. And started and went west from there, which is actually a good run, man. Saskatoon to the west coast, to Victoria and Nanaimo, that sort of thing is a good little run, man.
That is a nice run.
Yeah.
So you didn't get BC though, eh?
Yeah, we did some
Victoria
BC.
the other way. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
Cool. So went through all the mountains and everything?
Yeah.
You stop in Kelowna?
Yeah, we did Kelowna.
Yeah. It was a nice little town. Middle of nowhere, middle of the
It's
mountains.
beautiful there, man.
That's
Holy
awesome.
cow.
Yeah, it is. So, what do you got coming up?
Well, I just finished the new mixtape with DJ John Deck, Wine 2. We're going to drink a lot of wine this year, boys, part 2. So that's all finished, and we're going to drop the pre-release and maybe a couple tracks for people to listen to this week coming up. I guess, what is this, the week of the 9th of August? I don't know. Whatever, in the future. In the past to
This
you.
will drop in 2 weeks.
In the past to you.
Okay, so it's in the past to you. So by the time you hear this in this time capsule,
You can go get it.
you can hear some tracks and pre-order the mix, and you should be able to order it right away actually, and it'll be shipping soon. So 20 tracks.
You got a link for that?
You can check the Ghettosocks Bandcamp. page. It'll be up there. It'll probably be in iTunes too, but again, I don't know if this is a time traveling message. So who knows? Yeah, check it out.
Message in a bottle.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it if you're savvy with Google. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's a search engine. But yeah, try that. If that doesn't work, you can always, hit up the Breaking Records, whatever blog page or whatever you guys got going on, and I'm sure
we'll have the links up
find
on
some
our
links.
social medias.
So like probably right under the link that you clicked on to hear this is where you can find it. Yes.
Good call.
Unlocked.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yes.
He's just foreseeing the future.
Yeah. See, now I'll know for future interviews how to handle that question. So where do you find it? Well, there's probably going to be a link right
Scroll
underneath
down.
the link that you clicked. Yeah, so you're looking at the screen right now. You probably got like a bowl of milk right beside the computer. You had some cereal in it, and there's just some like sugary milk now. If you don't like to drink the sugary milk, then just add more cereal. Add more cereal. Hey, you can add more cereal and have another bowl if you're extra hungry, or you can just take that bowl of sugary milk and you can put it down the sink, and then you can rinse it off in a little soap and just clean it, and then you don't have to do so many dishes later. And if you have a girlfriend, she'll really appreciate that, and it'll help your relationship. And,
True life methodology.
Yeah,
Life
Ghetto
lessons from Ghettosocks.
And then you can click the Ghettosocks link underneath this.
That's
video.
right. Yeah,
That's what you really want to do.
Yeah. While you're doing the dishes, man, you can listen to a track. You can just listen to a jam and do the dish.
So what's the process that like you and Deck take when you do these tapes? Is he present with you when you're doing the tracks and writing them, or is it kind of more like you kind of do it on your time and he just kind of cuts it up and then?
Yeah, the process, it seems, he's based out of Ottawa, and I'm based out of Halifax, so, getting together is not always the easiest thing. So what we generally do, the process is he'll send me some beats, I'll make some beats, I'll have some beats on hand sent to me from producers that I work with or whatever, and we sort of flesh out some ideas and stuff, but I kind of like, I spearhead the thing where I like sort of make a lot of decisions just with myself, but he sends like beat suggestions, and oftentimes they make it onto the record. Like pretty much anything he sends me, I'll be like, okay, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So, but with this record, wanted to have like a lot of original material, not just have a lot of jacked industry beats. So there's that. So that's where I guess his contribution in terms of what beats get used. He might veto something, like if he doesn't think it's gonna fit with the project, he'll say, yeah, that might not fit. So let's use this one instead of that one, that sort of thing. And then when it comes down to actually assembling and doing the cuts and stuff, we get together. Like I went to Ottawa and we sat down at DJ Dusty's place, and we sort of got the arrangement, the order, and then he did like the mix in Ableton. Dusty tracked it out and he did all the cuts and stuff. So yeah, and then from that point I took the mixtape back and I added some more trinkets and a little sound effects and that sort of thing, just to make it a little bit more cohesive. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, it sounds like it took about 15 minutes based on that explanation, but yeah, it took a while to do it just because of schedules, and I do a lot of touring and John's busy DJing in Ottawa quite a bit, so that's that. So.
Yeah. And was that the kind of same process you guys took the first time too, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I'd say. Yeah, except I just tracked John out on my own last time, but it was nice to have Dusty's help. I could just sit there and focus on what we needed to get done.
Yeah.
So the first mixtape wasn't as much of a consistent DJ mix as I would have liked it to have been, and I'm sure as much as John would have liked it to have been, just because we didn't have as much time or resources to just go through each track and have like a scratch, like a juggle, or
and then line them up properly,
pulling it back,
everything.
So the last mixtape was really heavy mixing, like DJ mixing, sort of like for the first half, and then it sort of turned into more of just songs dropping in and stuff like that, less DJ heavy. So this is way more consistent. So in that regard, I think this mixtape is better than the previous one, because it's way more consistent from like start to finish. And there's also like way less interludes on this. It's just like a lot more.
And have you done any work with Moonshine, like for single albums, like your own albums?
Yeah, me and Moon have a group called Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we've put out one full-length record and then a couple EPs. We put out a 12-inch also, the Kaboom 12-inch, which featured a remix of the song Kaboom by M Phases.
Okay.
Also, DJ Joe Run Bombay has a track For You that he produced. And yeah, Moon's the homie. We haven't done any recent Twin Peaks
I
stuff.
was just gonna ask, anything recent with them?
No, nothing recent. He put out a record not long ago, maybe last year on Tommy Boy Records.
In Transit?
Called In Transit,
Yeah.
right? So he's been pretty busy doing that and doing a lot of DJing with Eloquent and that sort of thing. So his focus has been on his solo stuff. My focus has been on my solo stuff, and yeah, just kind of we'll see what happens with the Twin Peaks stuff if we have time to link up again. So
Decisive, what was the last track you did with him?
the last track I did with Decisive, I think we appear on the Back Burner record together, either that one or there's a track on the Back Burner record Eclipse, called Goon to a Goblin. We're both on that song together, but I think recently, the most recent track we recorded, we're both featured on a Johnny Active song. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, word, yeah.
Yeah, so Johnny Active got both of us on a song.
Is that out yet?
So I think it's either out, I don't know, again, the time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's either out now or is already out by the time you hear this. So, but yeah, that's a cool track. It's like a bit of a departure for me. It's like about like the cool kids, I don't know, cool kids growing up, I guess, that sort of thing. And the beat's really like airy and kind of like cloud trappy sort of style. And so I'm doing a little bit of like halftime, double time rhymes on it, and
Dope.
Yeah, I've always found that Decisive kills that style. Like he can really do. It's weird though. Both the tracks, even Goon to a Goblin, is kind of like more of a trappy style beat, but which I produced on the Eclipse record. But
Oh, you produced that one?
yeah,
too,
I
right?
did that one. That was my one contribution in terms of production for that record.
Han Solo's records?
On Han Solo. So yeah, Decisive. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually touch back on the mixtape though, the Wine 2. So you said actually there's a lot of... Hey!
Cardinal. That was a Cardinal, just in case you were wondering. A Cardinal cameo.
We're outside today enjoying the weather.
And there's a plane?
Yeah, my helicopter's on the way.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's my plan.
Personal plane.
But so you got a lot of more original production on this tape, you said, opposed to the last one. And so who were some of those producers?
Well, Fresh Kills has a beat on there. Civilian, Bix.
Yeah. Bix is dope.
Yeah,
Really
he's a
Bix's stuff.
maniac. He's a maniac. Sean One from Fredericton has a beat there. This dude Ill Treats from the UK has a beat. Another UK producer, DJ Sire from Gutter Snipes, has a beat. And then I produced a couple tracks as well on there, so there's a good cross section. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but again, there's probably a link, and there's probably a track list that you can check that out and find out the information associated with the answer to that question. But yeah, there's a lot more original. There's a few hijack beats on there, but all the references are cited. If you
You
don't
want to let any of the cats out of the bag? Or?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. There's a DJ Premier beat on there, Pete Rock beat,
Dope.
DJ Flume from Australia, Party Supplies, a couple Madlib beats actually on there too. So
Well, you guys have toured quite a bit together.
Yeah.
Is there any talks ever of a Relic Ghettosocks thing happening?
We talked about making a song once.
A song.
So you guys
make a
A couple
song.
weeks
I meant-
ago.
I mean,
No, we
yeah.
did. We did make a song. I'm just playing.
But like a project in any sense, or?
We talked about it. We talked about
We
it.
should talk about it. Talk about it.
Talk more, yeah. We've done a song. We got a song on Relic's album, Miles to Go.
Yeah.
On Miles to Go, there's a song that him and I are on with Shad.
Yeah.
So
Oh, say word.
yeah,
Shad's dope. Is that out?
that's
Yeah.
out.
That's a 2012 release, and the record actually won 2 IMAs,
Nice.
like Independent Music Awards.
Nice.
Just both the voters' choice and the judges' panel award or whatever. So I'm pretty happy about that. But that I think is the extent of what. But you know what? All joking aside, and fun, like we both are really focused people, and I think just like what Dee was saying about why there hasn't been another Twin Peaks thing happen. It's just like we both. It's a really hard game. It's a difficult game for anybody, and the collaborative efforts, if you've ever done them, whether it's with homies or with bigger people or people you're trying to help get some shine or whatever it is. It's always a fun thing to do, but it always ends up feeling like the things that are focused on your own stuff sort of ends up taking traction more because you will end up spending more time with it or whatever the reasons might be. So I'm not trying to make excuses for not doing that, but I think that we both have been in this for a long time, and I mean Sock's even longer than me, doing it so that it's like when there's.
I think you. I don't know. You've been in around for a fucking minute.
Oh, no, I wasn't trying to. I thought that was a good thing to say that.
Wow.
I was trying to give you props. I was trying to give you your props.
Well, I appreciate the props, but let's be accurate.
Okay,
I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
We're both. I'm old. Okay, let's get that out of the way. But you know what, man? I think Socks is one of the best guys in Canada doing it easy, and you know, one of the best out there doing it. So definitely, I mean, and that's why we tour together. Honestly, that's why we tour together because
You got a couple of awards.
Got a couple of awards.
Yeah.
Couple of awards, yeah. Music Nova Scotia Awards, East Coast Music Awards, Juno nominated in 2011. I don't know. That's the extent of them. Well, yeah, some readers polls awards, like readers voted type thing awards from the
That's
coast.
nice.
The coast. Yeah, but yeah, it's not about the
What
award.
song was it for Juno nominated?
It was the album Tree of the Day.
True to the Day.
Yeah, best
Cool.
hip hop record, so recording or whatever. That was the year that Shad won for
TSO.
TSOL. That's the one, yeah. So that was a good year.
That was. What year? 13.
2011.
11.
Yeah.
True.
For 2010. In 2011, for 2010,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Even though Tree of the Day came out in 2009. So
How'd you make that happen? How'd you swing that?
I don't know.
Good looking out.
There's actually I think there's like a vortex, a time vortex. At some point in the year where I think albums are eligible for the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a vortex where there's an overlap. There's an overlap where the eligibility can be extended for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's what I tell myself.
Something like that.
As we talk now into the time capsule, that we're learning things about time bandits.
Imagine how long my beard's gonna be when this comes out.
Ghettosocks and Rel.
Yes, Sockstradamus.
But actually, one thing I have wondered for a while. What album, tape, whatever, steal from Walmart? What is that on?
That's on the first. I don't know. My first real attempt. My first real attempt at making an album, which is.
You're getting try.
It's a dope ass fucking track.
Yeah, that's off of Get Some Friends, which I put out in 2006.
Is that even available?
I don't know if we have physicals left, but definitely, yeah, you can download it through my Bandcamp. For steal from Walmart, and the instrumental are on the 12-inch, and then
Who produced that one?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah. I did that one, and then
Dope ass beat too.
there was, what else is on it? Oh yeah, Suck It Up was another one, which I also produced. And then there's a third song on the track, City Life, featuring Lo Pesci and Classified, which Bix produced.
That's a dope joint too.
Thanks.
And another thing I wanted to actually touch up on, we interviewed J Brew a couple weeks ago, and we were asking him about music videos and stuff, and asked him about Help I've Been Robbed, and he mentioned that was your first music video appearance.
That was.
Say a word, eh?
Yep.
So how did that kind of go through?
Well, J Brew's the homie, first of all, I'll say that. He's the big homie, and he reached out to me like, geez, I don't know, that might have been like in 2006 at that point. And maybe even before that, and he wanted to do a song, and so we went to Classified's place, and we like wrote and tracked out the song, and it turned out the way that it did, and they wanted to do a video for it, so they set it up, and I came down from Halifax to Toronto, and we all shot the video. It was Jay Busy, J Brew, and myself. We all went down and shot the video, and it was real pro. I forget who this guy. I forget the name of the guy that directed it. JP something. JP, French name. And John Madeline produced it, and it's a really wicked video. It was a good experience for me because I'd never, like I said, I hadn't done a video. I'd been on a set for a video, and it was like really professional, like end to end, like huge crew and all that good stuff. So kind of in the heyday of making videos.
Yeah. That was still good.
Still had some money floating around, that sort of thing.
It's kind of unfortunate now, right? Like,
well, yeah, people just got to be more industrious, more creative to sort of like figure out like ways to make something crazy with very little.
Yeah.
So pulling in favors, and, I don't know, being creative with locations and that sort of thing. The concept is king, I think, when you're making a video. If you can figure out a way how to make something really cool, like with a cool idea, then you can do something.
It doesn't matter like whether you have thousands or hundreds going into it.
Yeah. If you have access to some half-decent equipment and somebody who's half capable of editing the material, then you can make some magic happen. Like Rel just shot a few videos for his new record and his previous record, for the 13th Floor and for Golden. You did stuff for the 13th Floor.
No, I haven't.
Oh, haven't yet?
I haven't.
Okay, so just for Golden then.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like
you do some video work too, don't you?
Yeah, I do
You've done some video directing.
I've directed a couple of videos, but yeah, like I did a Twin Peaks video.
That video I actually really like.
Thanks. Yeah. And but I mean, yeah, the skills are really in the hands of the people shooting it, like the directors of photography, and so I got to shout out Jeff Wheaton. I got to shout out my man Kaylee McLennan out in Halifax. Those dudes are crazy. Dan Jardine also, he makes a lot of dope indie videos from cats you might have heard of, like Swamp Thing, Timbuktu, that sort of stuff, and as well as myself. And yeah, so there's a lot of talent there. Not a whole lot of money, but we do what we can.
Well, you guys definitely are the type that are resourceful, that's for sure. Like I was saying earlier too, your videos are always, you guys always come out and bring the concepts out really good, and that's one thing I really like about your videos.
Thank you.
Sometimes I look at them like, oh fuck, how we pull this shit off?
Yeah.
The Stolen Kicks one, that one's really fucking.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was dope. That was like.
That one's wild.
Yeah. We got help from Much Fact on that. And yeah. Lithium Studios put that together, and Daryl Feria directed it, and he's a maniac, like super talented, charismatic, energetic dude who really cares about the video. Like the first time I worked on a video with him was Poppin' Chips, which is more or less and Fresh Kills, featuring myself and Timbuktu.
That was a good video too, man. I really like that one.
No, dude, it was awesome on that video shoot. Like, we showed up at a location and it was like just prop central. They had so many props and like
Insane, yeah.
wicked art department. And like at one point I kept on seeing Daryl, the director, I kept on seeing him refer to a black book. And I was like, damn. And he had like a sketchbook, right? And, and he had just pages and pages and pages of ideas and notes and like little diagrams and storyboards and, you know, all these like just really meticulously laid out stuff all about the video. And I really admired that about him. He really took a lot of time to consider everything. And when you see the video, you really see where all that effort went, because it's just the whole video looks banging, like the ideas are cool. There's no, like, you watch the whole thing and you're just like, damn, everything's tight about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I appreciate, like, about Daryl. He's the man. And I think anybody that's doing, you know, videos, it's just about the idea, how much time you invest in sort of ironing out how you're going to do it, how it's going to look good, how are we going to do this, what do we want to do, what do we want to communicate to people.
Yeah. And actually speaking, this is a bit of a subject change, but the time capsule, this will drop beforehand if I'm not mistaken. So you and Timbuktu, speaking of him, you guys got to show up here in Toronto.
Yep, we're doing Nerd Noise Now, which is this, I don't know, it's like this music series. It's like, I don't know, I think it's affiliated with some Comic-Con thing. I don't really know, to be honest. It's really dope though. There's this dude Mega Sean. He sort of puts it on and organizes it, and he's part of a group called the Cybertronic Spree, and they're like a Transformer-based band. Like, so they get up in like cosplay, like they dress up like Transformers, and they do tunes as Transformers. So it's really a sight to behold, and it's a dope show. And last year Swamp Thing played, and I came out and repped with Swamp Thing, and Fresh Kills was there, so I repped with him, like just kind of like hopped on stage and stuff during their sets.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and so this year they're doing it September 4th and September 5th at the Horseshoe at Queen and Spadina, and 2 nights of crazy lineups. Swamp Thing's, I think, playing on the first night. Word Burglar is also playing, I think, that show, and then the second night, Timbuktu and I, as Teen Burger, we're performing together, and then Fresh Kills is also on that bill, and there's a lot of other acts. The Cybertronic Spree's on there too as well. So
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a jump off.
And then, do you got anything else coming up in the Ontario area?
No, I don't, man. Actually, strangely enough, I don't. We do this Pan Am thing on Para-Pan Am thing on Wednesday, which is really exciting. And then we kind of work. I worked like for months putting the tour together. Like, we pulled that together, and all the effort that I had earlier this year went into that. And came back from that and kind of chilled for a couple weeks. And then after next week, I'm gonna try and start thinking about what things in October, November look like. And my goal is to really sort of set up and get out to Europe somehow or another. Yeah. That's what I want to be doing. I've been doing Canada back and forth for the last few years, like cross Canada stuff. And it's fun, it's great, man, but every time I talk to somebody about what it's like in Europe there, everybody keeps telling me like your music's gonna be received so well there, and and the crowds there are really great. So it's just something that I want to go and explore and see. So I'm sort of in the middle of figuring out some stuff for that. So I've kind of put the brakes on in terms of like, what it is that I'm looking for to do shows. Like, I mean, unless if somebody calls and said like, hey, I want you to do this or that, I might be doing it. And my manager Steph is booking a tour for like I was saying earlier, Dynasty. And so I might try and be on a couple of those shows. Maybe just the Ontario ones for that. We'll see what happens, man. Nothing in the sketchbook as yet, even. So it's actually a good feeling, man, because I feel like I can retool. I feel like I can figure out what the most important things for me to do are now, and how to actually lay some groundwork and some foundation before I actually go out there and start promoting this stuff. Again.
Lay some goals and execute them.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Just
basically restarting again from 3-4 years ago, but fresh.
Yeah, like I think it pays for artists to take a look at themselves every now and then, and even if it's not a drastic change, to be able to sort of redefine themselves or recreate themselves or whatever, to do stuff that they feel like is relevant to what's going on now. You know, and a record that me and Kill started 2 years ago actually works now, which is amazing to me. But I want to try some other things too. You know what I mean? So, and Kill's been talking to me about doing some stuff. Me and Socks have been talking about doing some more stuff together in terms of touring and whatever. And so there's options there. So now weighing those options and figuring out what's right is the place to be. I also want to take some time and do some creative stuff too. So I really haven't had really many really solid creative weeks since like last year when I was finishing the record that we put out this year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys coming through.
Thank you.
Lastly,
man. Glad to be here.
it's funny the time capsules were mentioned because the other day I was with my boy Nato, DJ Nato from Edmonton. We were out and about. He was in town visiting some family. And he had to go shopping for a baby. And we went in a couple stores and he wasn't finding anything. And I was like, dude, why are you shopping for a baby? Like, baby, what are you gonna get a baby? Like a stuffed animal, and then they're gonna like lose it in a shuffle or like not care about it in 10 years or whatever. Or what, you think your stuffed animal is gonna be the prized one that makes it through the melee of life? Like, no, probably not. It's gonna be like something that the parents got him or her or whatever. So I suggested, and this is my suggestion also to anybody out there shopping for babies or has nieces or nephews, is just get something that you'd want for yourself and put it in a box and start a time capsule. So like every year that the baby's, like 1 year old, get something that you like. 2 years old, get something you like. By the time they're like 19, they have a box of stuff, 19 gifts. And then you come and then you come out of the woodwork and be like, yo, here's a time capsule from every year that you've been born.
That's wicked.
And here, this is the gift. Because at that point, when they're 19 years old, they'll be able to enjoy, if you get them, say, some nice, like, alcoholic drink or something. I don't know if it'll, probably still be good. Or, something that's got, like, a...
Probably still be good.
Or, like a record or something that's got maybe explicit lyrics or something that they gotta have. Yeah. They're old enough to enjoy it now, and they're also old enough to remember that uncle or aunt who gave them this awesome gift. Yeah. And there you go. That's my suggestion. Don't buy little kiddie things, because there's always going to be a plethora of other relatives and friends of the family that are going to be buying,
very similar
toys and stuff like that, and then
end up with the same toys.
And they get everything, and so they have all the same thing, and so this way it's something different, and you actually have made a friend, as opposed to you roll up and you're like, hey, remember me? I got you a bear when you were 3, and then they're like, no, sorry, don't know you, don't care, don't know who you are, really don't care. But be like, look, I was there when you were 3.
I've been thinking about you for 19 years.
I've been thinking about you. And I didn't want to waste time and occupy your brain up until now, where it matters. Well, you'll remember me, and here you go. I was always there for you. The time capsule doesn't lie.
Why is the production date on this alcohol 2017?
Yeah, well, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Got you all 19 gifts at the same time.
2015. Damn, that's retro. It's 2029 now. Or that's 14-year-old. 30. Whoa, damn. Yeah, 2035. I don't know.
Label of
34.
Ghettosocks speaks about time.
Mathematics.
Yeah.
Ghettosocks speaks mathematics.
So yeah, so if you
Time travel.
so it's 2015 now, and if you have any newborn friends or family, newborn friends, I don't know, or a family
newborn friend.
Yeah, well, they're not gonna know you. So in 2015, if you start this,
I'm not gonna know you.
if you start this capsule now, then in 2034, yo, they're gonna love you. That's That's really love, and that's gonna be valuable to you because you'll probably be old as shit, and nobody will want to be your friend. But yeah,
But this 19-year-old will.
yeah. And that's the friend you want to have in 2034. I want to be friends with 19-year-olds. They're going to be like, what? What is all this stuff? They're going to be like, what is this? What is this, a CD? What is that even? Like, that's
Alcohol.
old school. We can't even
take a pill now.
We can't even play this. You know what? They'll probably be able to like take a CD and hold it up to their Google goggles or whatever they're wearing
And just read
and be
it.
able to download the data off the CD by looking at the shiny part of the CD.
Like, so it just downloads into your mind.
It doesn't even play it. You just like read it like a computer.
You can hold the CD to your head.
That was good.
Just to hear it.
Yeah.
Kind of like this. Skip the track.
Yeah.
Play next track.
Like, oh my god, they'll look at the time of each file. Like, oh my god, 3-minute songs? That's insane. Who would ever listen to something for 3 minutes? That's like a movie. Because yeah, you know, things are gonna change. Media's gonna change. All that
always is.
stuff. It's gonna be weird, yo. And like,
Songs are gonna
who's
be
drinking this? What is this? Alcohol? They outlawed this stuff like 10 years ago. Yeah, what? Alcohol? We don't. All the studies are showing how terrible it is for you. The government's finally
I'm
stepped
gonna call my
in.
uncle and give this back
Yeah.
to him. Then you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
All right.
This is age
There's
9.
booze in this box. I forgot. Give me that, twerp.
You're not so special.
I'm taking this one back.
Amazing.
Here's $20.
Well, that's the risk you take.
That's worthless.
That's the risk.
It cost $20 when I bought it.
Every time
20
you
bucks,
open that
that's
thing
like-
up to put
that's
something
like
else
a
in
bag
it,
of
the risk
chips.
is you're gonna
Yeah,
take something
$20.
back.
That's a bag of crisps.
Crisps. Yeah, fucking that time. Yeah, probably,
exactly.
man. $20.
Well, it's been a slice, boys. You know, and
Yeah.
speculating on the future. It's always a nice thing to do. Sometimes it's terrifying, but we chose to go the nice route and focus on positive things.
I was there.
I was there in 2015.
Next time when?
Breaking records when we actually sat around in real life,
Yeah.
in a real
World.
goddamn backyard with
Grapes.
an umbrella. There's grapes.
That's the
Vineyard.
This is old school,
vineyards,
man.
though.
This
I
is
love
the time capsule. You know,
We just went back in time.
exactly. You're going back in time
We'll
right now.
listen to this in 20 years on the internet.
Yeah, you're gonna hear
Wow.
all these old
Isn't that insane?
school, all these old-fashioned planes flying around.
Yeah.
All that sounds.
I'm gonna gate them out.
Well, yeah, but leave one in there so they know, so the future generations know
That it was a
that it wasn't
thing.
just like the anti-grav engines that they are used to now and like teleportation devices that everybody's got in their house.
We actually had
We had to get in.
metal
We had to climb.
shaped objects
We had to
that
climb
flew.
into big metal penises with wings and sit down and strap in and then fire. They'd fire us into the sky.
And we had to walk our ways there.
You know, and sometimes these planes would go missing. They don't even know where it went. Sometimes they'd crash. Sometimes they'd crash into things and people would fucking get iced. It'd be over. And now,
Spoken of again.
now you just, hey, I'm coming over. And you just pop through your teleporter.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. So yeah, big metal dicks. We're
I'm
flying
staying in
around.
until that happens.
We're flying in them. You know, they don't know what they're doing. They got the pilots up there, they're partying.
They
You
don't
know,
really even need
they
the
got
pilots.
broads in the cockpit. You know, they're popping champagne and smoking darts. There's clouds out the window.
Outlaw darts.
Smoking cigarettes. No, this is in the past, B. This is now.
This is
We're living in the past.
Alright.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Before we wrap it up, just to let the people know your social links, all that, you know, your Twitters and all that,
Yeah,
just so they can follow you.
at Ghettosocks, GHETTOSOCKS.
You're pretty simple with that, aren't you?
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter.
Prince Poutine.
I don't have a Tinder account.
You have a Tinder account.
Sorry, ladies.
Neither do I.
Don't look for me. Or if you see somebody that's got my face, you're getting catfished. I I might have just sabotaged myself if I ever want to be on Tinder, but whatever.
Yeah, the future, the time capsule.
Yeah, I'll just put up a picture of Maloney. That'll be good. That'll actually be better, probably.
Holy
I'll get more swipes. We're always talking about the future. This is crazy. I'm talking about the future. What I'm gonna do again. Who'd have thunk it? Rel, take it away.
You can get at me at relmccoy.com. It's like Real McCoy without the A. RELMCCOY. And my Twitter, my Instagram, all that stuff is the same thing. Facebook, it's Relic Hip Hop. Yeah, that's what's up.
Word up. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Make sure you go get the 13th floor and go get wine 2, and that's what it is. And we signing out.
Peace.
Peace.